stream. I believe it's starting up. Just so you know, I'm still putting things together as the stream has already started. So guess what? You get to see me set these things up live and also look in a weird direction into the corner. I'm looking at my computer while, while I'm setting it still up here for the time being. YouTube is up now. Welcome, YouTube, to First Start with a Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. I can do that real quick while I'm doing other things and setting other things up still for the stream. Oh my goodness. Sorry we're running late a little bit, number one, and I'm just going to continue to speak on why we're running late as I continue to do things, still setting up the stream. So, you know, it's like a little behind the scenes kind of look here. Don't worry, it's just going to take another minute or two for me to finish setting things up. Just got another thing or two to do. So yes, we are going to recap. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I'm going to say in my web push, because usually we push to the app to let you know, notification, say, hey, First Alert with a Breakdown is on now. I'm literally going to type up, I'm going to say what I'm typing in the notification to let you know what we're doing. We are recapping yesterday's storm, Wednesday. Yeah, I go yesterday's storms. You get the point. Yesterday, Wednesday. We were recapping yesterday's storms and looking forward. Let's, instead of storms, let's say flash flooding. Flash flooding. We're recapping yesterday's flash flooding, and because oh boy, there was a lot of rain yesterday. We're gonna get to that in a second. And we are looking forward. Looking, that's how you spell looking. Looking. Looking forward to more storms ahead over the next few days. All right. And I say watch live. And then I just got to click two things and then that's the wrong thing. I got to click two things and then I get to hit send with it. And bada bing, bada boom, that notification is sent to your phone for those of you that have our app, KSLA News 12. That's how it's done. Bada bing, bada boom. And now the stream is complete. Well, not the stream is complete, but the setup for the stream is complete. I just had to do that little tidbit for you there. A little behind the scenes look. It's actually why we were late, 2 minutes late, and also why I was late to set things up oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. Maybe I got struck by lightning and storms last night. Overall, storms affected a lot of our systems here this morning. Our keyboard was not working. We had to figure out why the keyboard was not working. We had to essentially go into the computer, or not, pretty much go into the computer, take the USB out, for those of you kind of any computer geek. Computer geeks, not computer geeks, you get the point. We essentially we took the keyboard out on the USB for its, end that you sticked into the computer, plug it back out, and plug it back in. It wasn't working at all. So I couldn't type some things that I had to in order to access things to run the stream, essentially. So that took us about 5 minutes to do. I was already running late enough doing other things. I didn't think about, it only takes me like 10 minutes to set up the stream, but, 5 minutes out of 10, you get the point. We were running late because the keyboard was gonzo for a moment. Now I can type. I can say different things. I can say hi on the stuff on hold up. I can say hi on here. Let me show you that my thing is working by putting up the this. There we go. Our agenda here for today. I've already kind of set this up, but there we go. Hi. My name is Evan. There. You can see the keyboard is working now. Wait, hold up. I got to refresh it. There we go. Hi, my name is Evan. Anyways, you get the point. We're recapping yesterday's storms. We're looking forward to today and tomorrow's storms, and we got to look at the weekend forecast. All right, enough chitter chatter, enough dilly dally. Let's get into the forecast here for the day today across the Arclitex. All right, live look on our John Harvey Toyota Skycam. Essentially, we're just going into the main forecast here for the day. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot to recap here from yesterday. One of the other things I'll do with recapping, I'll pretty much kind of random facts here and there throughout this forecast. And one of the other things I want to mention is our cameras are down. Some of them are. Just, we have, for those of you who are kind of know our lingo here at KSLA News 12, we have 4 cameras. We have 1 in Bossier. We have 2 in Shreveport, 2 different looks in Shreveport, and then we have 1 Texarkana cam. Our only cameras that are working are our Bossier camera, obviously, because you can see it right then and there, and our, drumroll please, our Texarkana camera. Those are the only 2 cameras working. Both of our Shreveport cameras are down. I believe a power surge caused the first one directly in downtown Shreveport, and then our Mattress Plus Skycam that literally just faced downtown 95% of the time. That got struck by lightning last night, believe it or not. So that's going to be taking some time and taking some rehab before it's back online. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with here for the day today. Is more storms on top of last night's mess that lasted all the way until 2 to 3 in the morning. So you were up late last night with some rumbles of thunder around midnight, 1 a.m. That's, as I said, that lasted still for a good long while around here. We had a little break this morning, but now we've introduced more storms. So we'll get to that current radar here in just a second. And we're going to go over the future track as well because, again, we got more storms not just from today, but also heading into tomorrow, too. Overall, today is day 2 of 3 of dealing with these storms in the Arklatex. Then we have our first full day break on Saturday. Once we get into Saturday morning, we are nice and dry and beautiful for the weekend. Not only that, temperatures are going to be more comfortable. We'll take a look at that coming on up here in just a little bit. I will say the only part of your weekend to watch out for is going to be Friday night. Again, storms are coming on Friday. That does include Friday after work and after school. So if you have any Friday night plans, it's, kind of the first part of your weekend, I would say watch out for storms late on Friday night because they could continue as late as midnight. So, yeah. Storms coming back here for next week as well. So, thankfully, we just have a nice break just in time for the weekend to enjoy both Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures around here have stayed very cool this morning. These are the temperatures you've usually waken up to. Upper 60s and lower 70s, but we actually had temperatures down in the low to mid 60s here this morning. The same thing is on the way here for tomorrow as well. Another little cool, little chilly morning here, just by a little bit. Here for the Arklatex, as right now, again, temperatures in the upper 60s on lower 70s, and we'll talk about those highs here in just a moment. Here's a current look at the first alert Doppler radar. It doesn't look like there's much going on, but if you zoom in, we've had a stray few storms already attack Shreveport and Bossier about 2 hours ago and about an hour ago, and some of that rain is still lingering on. It looks like on the east side of Bossier here for now. But this is what we're watching out for. These stray few cells, which are actually along I-20, just in the western edge of Caddo Parish there, almost on the state line. And looks like we got some more cells directly south of Marshall, almost on I-20 as well. So those are the only cells pretty much in the entire Arklatex and the local vicinity around here. We're going to continue with that theme in throughout a good portion of the rest of the day today. Future track temperatures, highs again getting back up into the mid-80s for this afternoon, low to mid-80s at that. Then for tomorrow morning, got temperatures down into the 60s here for the most part. Then temperatures are a little more obscure, a little more wild here for tomorrow afternoon. Again, we're going to be dealing with rain here. And if you're underneath some of those rainy skies here for your Friday, that could cool you off a little bit, only the temperatures in the 70s here for tomorrow. Look cool to start off your Saturday morning, and then highs don't even reach 80 degrees on Saturday, despite the sunshine being back out. Low pressure and cold front, if you notice, it still hasn't hit our region. There's that kind of, I would even call it, looks like a fireball of what weather that you see there moving into Mississippi. That was the storms from last night. If I remove my head so you can see the full picture here. Again, those storms from last night have moved into Mississippi, but we still got tons of moisture building with this cold front line. We're going to continue to get more cloud cover, more storms until this cold front finally passes us, which doesn't happen until Friday, and Friday night at that as well. So right now, we've continued to see just a little pop-up of a few tiny little showers and cells, again, pretty much right along the I-20 corridor for now. That could move a little bit southward as we continue on throughout the day today. That's what we've kind of noticed in our future track as we get into the afternoon. Maybe a few pop-up cells in and around Natchitoches and Nacogdoches that could still continue as late as the nighttime hours tonight. This is our brand new future track, by the way. It just came into us as well. For Friday, looks like it starts out dry all the way till around midday, and then midday is when it starts to trigger a few cells, even for the northern half of the Arklatex, which the northern half of the Arklatex isn't expected to get too much in terms of rain coverage here over the next few, or over the day today. But they are expected to get storms here throughout tomorrow. It looks like a good bit. Into tomorrow afternoon, some of those showers and storms could develop a lot more, and it could get ugly in some spots here for Friday night. Look at the cells continuing on as late as, say, 2 to 3 in the morning, actually. Then once you get into Saturday morning, notice the rain, the clouds finally gone, and that's going to lead us into a beautiful both Saturday and Sunday there for you. So let's talk about the storms that we're expecting here over the next 2 days. Today's storms, the ones that do form, especially in the afternoon, could contain a slight risk of severe weather. We're still watching out for a good amount of threats with this. So, yeah, watch out. We are looking at some hail potentially coming on by, some strong winds. Flash flooding, still possible. Not, if you notice, not the risk isn't as high as yesterday. That's because we should actually have some cells that are progressively moving instead of being stuck on certain areas like we did last night. But it's still possible to add on top of, obviously, a very soaked ground and a very soaked atmosphere already here in the Arklatex. So, thankfully, I will say, notice the tornado risk. That is incredibly low here for the day today. That is probably the thing I'm not concerned about at all here for your Thursday or Friday, which is good news. But for today, greater rain chances, as we just saw in our future track, do linger around and are in effect for those areas in the southern half of the Arklatex, mainly around Natchitoches. Texarkana still has a little chance of storms. I remember that slight chance of severe storms does include areas of Texarkana in the northern half of the Arklatex here for the day today, despite that rain chance being low. It just pretty much means if a storm does hit you, look for it to be powerful. It's just unlikely to hit you at this time. I hope that makes sense. So again, Natchitoches, greater rain chance. Still a 40% chance of rain here for Shreveport. Obviously, we've already gotten hit this morning. So that kind of already came true, so to speak. All right, so severe outlook here for today, for tomorrow. If you notice, we do not have that slight risk at all for any part of the Arklatex, but marginal risk is still there, which does indicate that the National Weather Service still is looking for us to have the slimmest chance of severe storms. Looks like we have slightly greater chances of severe storms happening and popping off just areas to our west further into Texas. So that's for today and tomorrow. Again, just 2 more days with rain. Saturday morning, we're finally drying out, and Sunday we have completely sunny skies. The one big change here from last weekend to this weekend, I know both weekends beautiful here for the most part. We did have a little bit of rain on Saturday from last weekend across the northern half of the Arklatex. But big change for me isn't really the conditions at all because, again, no chance of rain for anybody across the Arklatex for both Saturday and Sunday. Look at the temperatures. Highs were around 90 degrees last weekend. It was toasty out and around, especially if you got some outdoor yard work done. This weekend, high temperatures are about 10 degrees less than that. Highs are only getting up to around 80 here for both Saturday and Sunday. I think it's going to be nice on both days and probably one of the most pleasant May weekends to get out and about, personally. All right, that dry break does continue into Monday on the 7-day forecast. The 2 bookends of the 7-day forecast, though, do feature rain today, tomorrow, and then we have another round of widespread storms looking more and more likely here for next Tuesday and Wednesday. I will say today I walked into work, looked at the weather models that I normally do, and I think this is the first day of weather models where I've actually sat down and said, okay, our next system is happening at this time frame, meaning I'm starting to get a lot more consensus. At first, it was mainly just rain's going to happen sometime next week, and now it looks to be Tuesday and Wednesday when that next system is coming on through at this time. So we'll keep you first alert about that, especially once we get close to that time frame, probably just early next week. Stick with us here on Monday, and you'll get details for Tuesday and Wednesday. Obviously, we still got storms to get through for the end of this week, though. Keep in mind that Thursday and Friday, even into Friday night, still looking a little gross. We don't do traffic here on First Look with a Breakdown. I accidentally clicked one graphic too far. But anyways, I'm gonna take a quick break. We're gonna recap these storms and see what you can look forward to for tomorrow's episode after a quick commercial break. If you have any questions, always feel free to ask those on our First Look or on our KSLA News 12 page on YouTube. All right, I'll be back in 2 minutos. See y'all in a minute. Welcome back to First Alert with a Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thanks for joining us again on the First Alert with a Breakdown here for the day today. More rain incoming. Just a couple facts to spread about yesterday's rainfall. We shattered records, daily rainfall records. That's why we had our first weather day, mainly, was due to the flash flooding that was expected yesterday, and still a number of wet roadways out there, especially for Shreveport and Bossier from this morning's rain alone. But especially late last night into the overnight hours, a number of flooded roadways here locally in Shreveport and Bossier. Some flooded roadways that were closed in parts of Harrison County were reported to us as well. Honestly, that's the two main areas I probably saw the biggest and greatest rainfall totals from, was pretty much the stretch from Marshall all the way to Shreveport and Bossier. Pretty much had the bulk of the rain. Everybody got rain, period, still, but the most of the rain really happened in those areas. In fact, this fact really goes to state pretty much everything. Shreveport on April 30th, they keep daily rainfall records for each and every day. Just for, fact's sake, essentially. So the daily rainfall record for April 30th on any given year, these records also go back hundreds of years. Or I shouldn't say hundreds of years, but about 100 years or so. The rainfall record for Shreveport was 2.2 inches for April 30th. That's the most amount of rain that had happened on April 30th out of all the years. Yesterday's rainfall was 4.53 inches. Over double the rainfall record. Absolutely shattered it. Wow. It's quite amazing. So, yeah, hopefully you know we're not driving out in the roadways in the overnight hours at least. Things got definitely better in time for the morning commute, which was good. And that's what I was actually thinking when I was coming into work last night. I was like, thank goodness this happened probably during the time where the least amount of people were out and about. We had one reported water rescue in the overnight hours. I believe it was on the somewhere on Hollywood Avenue in Shreveport. But this could have been so much worse, especially if it was right during the thick of rush hour, for example. Thankfully, it started raining during rush hour, I believe, right around 4 or 5 p.m. yesterday. But that was just the start of it. And thankfully, most of us, you were just smoothly able to get on home after maybe a little bit of a slower commute. But definitely, the thick of the rain definitely built up into the late night hours. And just made me grateful that did not happen again during the peak of the afternoon. That's our episode here for the day today. Thanks for watching. Again, more storms for today, more storms for tomorrow. We'll have more coverage on it on First Alert with a Breakdown here for tomorrow. We air this every single weekday at 10:30, right where you're watching it now. So, yeah, we'll be discussing tomorrow's storms on tomorrow's First Alert with a Breakdown again at 10:30. One more episode left for the work week. Tomorrow we'll be going over your regional travel forecast as well. I know storms leave here on Friday. Thankfully, it's for us to enjoy a beautiful weekend, but we'll see about other places. Because that might not be the case. We'll see, though. So if you're traveling out to Dallas, New Orleans, stay tuned here for tomorrow. We'll have your forecast for your weekend coming up on Friday's episode of First Alert with a Breakdown at 10:30. You be there, be square, most importantly, be weather aware. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Peace out.